Hi, this is Jim Cranston from 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com, the podcast and website about reimagining your life. Thanks for joining me today to talk about having to give yourself some grace as well. So let's get started. If you like what you hear today, please leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends, send me a message. Thanks for joining me tonight to talk about, well, giving yourself a little bit of grace when you really rather not have to. So, first, a little backstory. This past weekend, I was helping one of my brothers take down a small barn. It all went as planned. There weren't even really any even minor injuries at all. But, I've come to discover that I just don't re energize quite like I used to. A small amount of intense work plus a busy week at the day job kind of rippled through into the following days. Now, I could be really annoyed that I couldn't prepare a really deep, insightful show for tonight. And I certainly had many topics to choose from, things like stories on the best books and podcasts about aging. Wait, you're already listening to the best podcast. But other ones like pensions versus peace of mind and retired and retiring people. And here's an interesting one, monitoring taxi drivers as early indicators for Alzheimer's risk. And there are many more. So there's lots of interesting things. But I had to make a difficult decision to prioritize my health over an exciting new topic, which is really the basis of a lot of what we have to talk about tonight. Because just like putting on your own oxygen mask before helping others, if you've ever flown, you've probably heard that little spiel, right? I can't serve you well if I'm ill or exhausted. Similarly, I thought I'd be driving this afternoon for the day job to another state. Again, I had to make the decision that driving in the dark while tired is not a recipe for a good outcome. So that brings us to the topic of not only grace for others, but also grace for ourselves. As we age, we're always learning new skills and new limitations. I was known as the guy who didn't sleep much, and that certainly has changed a lot. But I also picked up a lot of wisdom over those same years, so on balance, I often don't have to, bull through these endless days because I can be more efficient in what I do or in selecting what tasks I approach. But sometimes you have to accept that you misestimated and you have to give yourself some grace. Everything will get done. It just might have to shift a little bit in time. I had the wisdom to already make arrangements to allow for extending my trip without any surprises and, called and let all the affected people know about the delay. So every time something like that happens, of course, you want to be annoyed at yourself. You want to be disappointed. You want to say, oh, I used to be able to do that. And, maybe you did, but don't forget also our memories are kind of selective in what we actually remember. Maybe you used to do that, but maybe you only used to do that sometimes. So I would encourage you to also be aware of the changes that occur as we age. And while we always try to plan for them, life is very clever, presenting us new challenges when we least expect them. So give yourself a little grace, learn from the experience, and be grateful that we still have the opportunity to grow and share our experiences with others. So that's it for the evening. It's a very simple little message tonight. Lots of interesting topics we could have talked about, but this is also very relevant. And when I talk to other people a lot, this topic comes around the block. Oh, I used to be able to do this, used to be able to do that. Maybe you did, but a lot of the times you had to do this or do that was because you didn't have the wherewithal to plan ahead. And so you had to work really hard. So remember the good that comes along with the challenges. Your homework tonight is to think about a recent time that you got annoyed with yourself for not being able to do something that you used to be able to do. Now try to reframe it in terms of what you learned from the situation and how you might handle it again in the future. That's it for the evening. Please remember the many wars and just general areas of strife going on in the world right now, political unrest, just a lot of things going on. Also, please check out the updated page at ukr7.com. My staff got that updated. They did, I think, actually came out really nice. The links have been vetted. So I know some of the other links have gotten stale. That's taken care of. So please check it out, ukr7.com. Those are all links where you can support the people of Ukraine. They definitely need it. And won't get into any politics about the whole thing. But if you go actually and look at some of the real first-person news, you'll find that the situation there is very, very dire. And not just there. There's a lot of places in the world, which brings us to World Central Kitchen. World Central Kitchen, Chef Jose Andres, they go into disaster areas around the world, and they did some work in war zones. They really usually operate in disaster areas, do amazing things, usually working with local supplies and local people, so that it helps the people get themselves back on their feet and get going again. World Central Kitchen, WCK.org, super highly recommend them. And as we often talk about, there's a lot of places. There aren't just all places in other parts of the world that there's local charities and all sorts of places you can support either with your labor, with money. And if you're just not in a position to do those things, remember one of the best ways to care for yourself is to care for others. So you meet somebody in the street, they look like they're a little down, just talk to them, say hi, say good morning. It can be something as simple as saying good morning can change somebody's day. So if you can and able, either check out UKR7, WCK.org, just make somebody's day a little bit better. As always, thank you for stopping by. If you found something interesting and useful, please pass it along. Please subscribe, hit that like button. If not, please drop me a comment as to what you'd like to hear. Have a great week. Remember to live the life that you dreamed of, because that's the path to true contentment. Love and encouragement to everyone. See you next week on 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com. Thank you.